Nothing prepares Heartland fans for the moment the truth finally breaks through the darkness. Episode 7 doesn't just end with a twist, it exposes a hidden enemy who has been quietly watching, waiting, and moving through the ranch long before anyone realized. And when the final reveal hits, it becomes clear that the real danger is not the person everyone blamed, but someone far more calculated, someone who knows Heartland from the inside. The ending forces one terrifying question. If Harper isn't the one haunting Heartland, then who is? Episode 7 begins like the calm after a storm, the kind that tricks you into believing life is finally settling again. Amy tries to breathe normally after the poisoning scandal, hoping the worst is behind her. Spartan is healing, Lindy is smiling again, and Nathan seems determined to rebuild the fragile piece their relationship nearly lost. For the first time in days, Heartland feels like itself, steady, familiar, safe. But underneath that calm lies a silence so unnatural that even the horses feel it before Amy does. Throughout the day, Amy pushes herself to stay focused, convincing her heart that the danger has passed. She tells herself that Harper's apology meant something, that the chaos has ended, that the ranch can finally return to normal. But as the sun drops behind the horizon, the illusion begins to break. Amy senses it first as a faint tension in the air, a subtle shift that she can't fully explain. It's the feeling she gets when a horse senses a predator nearby. Quiet, unsettling, impossible to ignore. The night grows heavier, the ranch lights flicker softly, and the familiar sounds of Heartland seem too soft, too distant. Amy walks toward Spartan's pen one last time before heading inside. She bends down to check the water bucket, thinking only about tomorrow's routine. But then she sees it. A tiny detail, almost invisible in the dirt, a small object half buried near the fence. Something out of place. Something she recognizes immediately. She freezes. Her breath catches in her throat because this object doesn't belong to any stranger passing by. It doesn't belong to a worker. It doesn't belong to anyone who should be near Spartan's pen at this hour. It belongs to someone who has already caused chaos once. Someone connected to Nathan's world. Someone who promised they were done. Amy kneels down slowly, her heartbeat pounding. The memory of the poisoning rushes back. The fear, the betrayal, the feeling of being watched. She picks up the object with shaking hands, knowing exactly what it means, but wishing she didn't. The calm she felt earlier collapses instantly. The danger isn't gone. It never left. And whoever planted this clue wanted her to find it, wanted her to feel the fear all over again. The barn light buzzes behind her, dimming for a second. Amy stiffens. The hair on her arms rises. She hears something, a soft crunch in the grass behind her slow, heavy, intentional. Not an animal, not the wind. Someone is out there. Amy turns her head slightly, but the dark keeps its secrets. A cold shiver runs down her spine as she realizes she's not imagining this. Someone is watching her. Someone who moves quietly enough to stay unseen, but leaves a trace sharp enough to send a message. She hides the object in her pocket just as footsteps fade into the distance. Heartland, the place she has always trusted with her life, suddenly feels like a trap. Open fields filled with shadows that no longer feel comforting. The episode has barely begun, yet the truth is already whispering through the darkness. The enemy hasn't left Heartland. They've stepped closer, and Amy is the first one to feel it. Amy walks back toward the house, trying to steady her breathing, but every step feels heavier than the last. The object in her pocket seems to burn against her palm, reminding her of everything she thought was finished. Harper's breakdown, the sabotage, the promises that sounded honest but now feel hollow. Inside the house, the lights glow warmly, but the moment Amy crosses the doorway, she realizes the safety she once felt here is slipping away. Jack notices it instantly. He studies her with the quiet intuition that only years of protecting the family can sharpen. Amy forces a small smile, hoping he won't ask questions. But Jack sees the tension in her shoulders, the distant look in her eyes. He asks if she's all right, yet Amy hesitates. Telling him the truth means opening a door she isn't ready to walk through. Not until she understands what she found and what it means. Instead, she tells him she's tired. Jack doesn't push, but his concern lingers in the air long after she walks away. Nathan, however, is more direct. He follows Amy outside, sensing the emotional distance growing between them. The two of them stand in the fading light, the silence between them sharper than any argument. Nathan gently places a hand on her arm and asks again if something happened. But Amy still can't bring herself to say it, not when the clue points toward his family. The emotional weight sits between them like a shadow neither wants to face. Nathan tries to reassure her, speaking softly, promising that things will get better, but Amy barely hears his words. The real danger is still out there, hiding in the dark, and she knows it won't stop just because she wishes it would. Before Nathan can press further, she steps back, forcing a smile she doesn't feel, and tells him she just needs a moment alone. She hurries to the barn, the one place that usually brings her peace, but tonight it feels different. Too quiet, too still. She closes the door behind her and pulls the object from her pocket, examining it under the weak overhead light. Every detail confirms what she feared. It matches the sabotage tool used in the poisoning incident. It wasn't dropped accidentally. It was placed carefully, purposefully. And worst of all, it was left in the exact same spot where Spartan first fell sick. Amy's chest tightens as the truth sinks in. Whoever is doing this knows the ranch. They know her routine, they know her weaknesses, and they want her terrified. Her mind races through every possibility. Could Harper really be back on the property? Had she lied about everything? The apology, the promise to leave, the tears that seemed real. Were they all part of the plan? But then Amy remembers the footsteps behind her. Slow, calculated, controlled. That isn't Harper's style. Harper is emotional, reckless, unpredictable. What Amy felt outside wasn't chaos. It was precision. A chill slides down her spine as an even darker thought creeps in. What if someone else is involved? Amy leans against the stall, trying to calm her breath, but the fear only grows stronger. Her instincts have never been wrong. Not with horses, not with people, and definitely not with danger. Tonight, every instinct is screaming the same truth. The threat isn't over. It has only evolved. As she leaves the barn, the wind picks up, carrying a faint metallic scent that makes her stop in her tracks. She glances toward the tree line and sees nothing but darkness. Yet the uneasy feeling refuses to fade. She feels eyes on her again, watching, waiting for her next move. Amy closes the barn door slowly, her pulse racing. This isn't paranoia. This is real. Someone is out there. Someone closer than she ever imagined, and they're no longer hiding their presence. Night falls over Heartland with a strange heaviness, the kind that makes every sound sharper and every shadow feel alive. Amy walks back toward the house, but the eerie feeling from earlier refuses to leave. The ranch has always been her safe place. Open, peaceful, filled with life. But tonight it feels different. Wrapped in silence, watching her instead of comforting her. She glances once more toward the dark tree line, half expecting the flashlight to flicker again, but the night stays still. That, somehow, feels even worse. Inside her room, Amy sits on the edge of the bed, the object she found earlier resting in her hand. She turns it slowly, studying the scratches, the shape, the way it almost matches the tool used during Spartan's poisoning. It's not just similar, it's identical. Whoever dropped it wanted her to recognize it, wanted her to remember, wanted her afraid. A cold shiver runs through her. This wasn't a message for the ranch. It was a message for her. Hours pass, but Amy can't sleep. The memory of the crunching grass, heavy, intentional footsteps, replays in her mind. She knows that sound. She has spent her life around horses, wildlife, and ranch hands, but this wasn't an animal or a wandering stranger. It was someone who knew where to stand, how to move, and how to disappear without being seen. Finally, unable to sit still, she gets up and looks out the window. At first, everything appears normal. The barns are quiet. The yard is empty. The moonlight spills across the land in a soft silver glow. But then just at the edge of the trees, she notices something faint, a flicker of movement, a tiny shift of light. Her breath catches. The flashlight. Again. But this time, it moves slower. almost as if the person is searching. Amy steps back from the window, heart pounding. She doesn't scream. She doesn't call for Jack. Fear has frozen her voice, but something deeper holds her back too. The need to understand what's happening before she alarms the entire family. She can't accuse anyone without proof, and she can't let her fear cloud her judgment. But the truth she's been avoiding becomes impossible to ignore. She is being watched. The danger isn't guessing anymore. It's standing there in the dark, studying her every move. The next morning, Amy's exhaustion shows. Her eyes are tired, her steps unsteady, her voice distant. She avoids Nathan during breakfast, not out of anger, but out of fear. Fear that telling him the truth will break him apart again, fear that Harper might be involved, fear that the person she saw last night might be someone even more dangerous. Nathan notices instantly. He's not the same man he once was. He's more aware now, more sensitive to Amy's emotions, more protective. He tries to talk to her, placing a gentle hand on her back, but Amy stiffens, not because she doesn't love him, but because everything she found points towards someone in his world, someone with a reason to hurt her. That tiny hesitation, that half-second pause before she answers him, hits Nathan harder than she realizes. She sees it in his eyes, a flash of confusion, then pain. For a moment, he wonders if Amy is afraid of him, or worse, if she doesn't trust him anymore. He pulls away slightly, unsure, the distance growing without a single word spoken. Later, Amy returns to the barn to clear her head, but instead, the fear deepens. One of the back doors is slightly ajar. She remembers closing it tightly the night before every instinct in her flares up. She steps inside slowly, her eyes scanning the shadows, looking for movement. The barn smells the same. Hay, horses, dust. But something feels off. A faint footprint, right near Spartan's stall. Fresh, deep, and definitely human. Her throat tightens. Someone was here. Close, quiet, controlled. Not Harper. Harper would have made noise, left chaos behind, broken something in anger. This intruder left only one footprint, one clue, as if to send a signal. Amy kneels beside the print, her fingers trembling as she traces its outline. Whoever made this didn't come here to harm a horse. They came here to show her they could. She straightens up slowly, her heartbeat thundering in her ears. This is no longer about sabotage. It's about intimidation, a psychological game, a warning. And as she steps outside, Jack appears from around the corner. He studies her pale face and knows something is wrong, but before he can ask, Amy's eyes drift past him toward the same trees where she saw the Watcher last night. Heavy shadows cling to the branches. Still, silent, waiting. Amy swallows hard. The truth is finally undeniable. The hidden enemy is no longer hiding. They are here, and they are getting bolder. Tension rises as the truth finally steps into the light, and what seemed like a simple conflict turns into something far more dangerous for everyone at Heartland. The episode takes a darker turn when Amy notices how Harper keeps glancing over her shoulder, as if expecting someone to appear at any moment. It's a look filled with fear. Fear that doesn't come from a single attack, but from a threat that has been following her for weeks. Amy realizes that Harper isn't just scared of what happened. She's scared of what might happen next. And this changes everything, because now it's no longer about solving a mystery. It's about keeping Harper alive. At the same time, Ty and Nathan dig deeper into the strange trail of evidence left near the spot where Harper was attacked. Broken branches, 2 different footprints, and a strange symbol carved into a tree trunk. It's the symbol that stops them cold. Nathan recognizes it immediately, and his expression hardens. He quietly admits to Ty that this symbol has shown up before, years ago, connected to a dangerous group that used intimidation to control local ranchers. They were known for striking from the shadows, and they never revealed their faces. For Nathan to even mention them means the situation is far more serious than anyone expected. Back at the ranch, Lou tries to keep the family calm, but even her voice shakes when she learns that whoever targeted Harper might also be targeting Heartland. She doesn't want panic to spread, but the fear is real. Jack watches Lou pace across the room and reminds her that Heartland has faced danger before. Fires, betrayals, accidents, even death, and still stood strong. But this time, Jack admits something he rarely does. He's worried. Because this enemy is not acting out of anger or revenge. This enemy is calculating, patient, and hidden behind a purpose that no one understands yet. The emotional weight grows heavier when Lisa discovers Harper sitting alone in the barn with tears streaming down her face. Harper finally breaks down and confesses what she has been hiding. The person who attacked her wasn't a stranger. She recognized their voice. It belonged to someone she once trusted, a person she thought she had escaped from. But that person is not working alone anymore. They are part of something bigger, something Harper calls the Circle, a group that uses fear to control people. Her attack wasn't random. It was a warning. This confession shakes the entire Heartland family. Amy feels a rush of anger, not just because Harper was hurt, but because Harper was too afraid to speak sooner. Yet Amy also understands. Sometimes trauma locks the truth inside, too painful to bring out. Now that the truth is finally exposed, the danger feels much closer. And the worst part? Harper reveals that the Circle knows Amy helped her. That means Heartland itself could be the next target. The episode closes this section with a chilling shift. As night falls, the ranch becomes eerily quiet. A cold wind sweeps across the fields, and the horses grow restless. In the distance, a figure watches Heartland from the tree line. Still, silent, hidden. And when the camera moves closer, we see the same symbol Nathan found earlier carved onto a wooden charm hanging from the figure's gloved hand. The hidden enemy is no longer hiding. They are making their presence known, and Heartland is officially in their sight.
Just when it feels like the storm can't grow any darker, Episode 7 reaches its most intense turning point. The truth about the Circle spreads through Heartland like wildfire, and every character reacts differently. Amy tries to stay strong, but deep inside she fights a fear she hasn't felt since the days she almost lost Ty. She knows danger, she knows threats, but this is different. This enemy isn't emotional, impulsive, or reckless. This enemy is organized, and they've been watching Heartland long before Harper arrived. That realization sends a chill through Amy's whole body. Because if they've been watching, then what else do they know? Ty becomes the anchor everyone needs, even though his own anger simmers just beneath the surface. He refuses to sit back while Amy and the girls are in danger. So he joins Nathan at the attack site again, determined to find anything they missed, and this time, they do. Beneath a pile of leaves, Ty uncovers a small metal device. Almost like a tracker, Nathan inspects it, his face turning pale. It's a tool the Circle used years ago to mark their targets, a way to follow people without being seen. If Harper had one near her attack site, it means she wasn't chosen randomly. She was being watched for a long time, and now Ty fears the same device might be somewhere near Heartland. Meanwhile, Lou tries to protect the ranch the only way she knows, by preparing for every possible situation. She organizes the family, checks security cameras, locks barns, and warns the neighbors. But even with all her efforts, she feels helpless. Heartland has always been a safe place, a home filled with trust. Now every shadow feels suspicious, every sound in the dark feels like a threat, and the weight of keeping everyone safe presses on her like never before. The emotional heart of this section comes when Harper finally gathers the strength to tell the full story. Sitting with Amy and Jack, she reveals how she first got involved with the Circle. She didn't choose them, they chose her. They promised protection, opportunity, and belonging, things she desperately needed at a time when she had no one. But once she tried to leave, everything changed. They threatened her, followed her, and made it clear that leaving them comes with consequences. Her attacker wasn't trying to scare her back into the group. They were punishing her for trying to break free. Amy's heart aches hearing this, and Jack's expression turns cold with disbelief that anyone would hurt a young girl this way. But the biggest shock comes next. Harper admits that the Circle wants something from Heartland. She doesn't know what, but they spoke about influence, resources, and connections. And they mentioned a name, someone from Heartland's past, someone coming back. Amy and Jack share a stunned look. Who could it be? A rival? A former ally? A stranger with a hidden link? This single, unanswered question becomes the driving mystery of the entire episode. As the section reaches its climax, tension explodes in the most chilling moment yet. Late at night, while everyone sleeps, the horses suddenly react. Panicking, stomping, snorting, Amy rushes outside, heart pounding. And there, at the front gate, she finds something that freezes her completely. A wooden charm hanging from the lock, carved with the same symbol from the attack site, a direct message. A warning, a claim. The circle has stepped out of the shadows and onto Heartland soil. The episode leaves the audience breathless. The hidden enemy is no longer hiding. Harper's past has become Heartland's present. And Amy realizes something terrifying. This isn't the end of the threat. It's the beginning of a war she never expected to fight. The circle is coming, and they won't stop until they get what they want.